This is the best possible start for summoners in Ashes of Creation. This guide will get you to level 8 with knowledge on how to get to level 10 with best in slot pre-level 10 crafted weapons to become overpowered to solo with ease to smash level 10 content and beyond. This guide is simple, no luck required, all completely solo, so that means no being in a guild, no having friends, and no grouping required whatsoever. Let's get into it. Important note, in order to follow this guide, you want your starting region to be the Divine Gateway of the Dunezenkel. The reason we choose this starting location, it is much more streamlined, efficient, faster, better grind spots, better gathering spots, a faster, more clean, more fleshed out quest line, and this area is still a work in progress, so they're only going to be making it even better than the other area. Now, this is known as the Anvils, whereas of the Ayla is known as the Riverlands. So there's a lot more players in the Riverlands, there's a lot more info for the Riverlands, and there is a lot more questing in the Riverlands, but the quests aren't as rewarding or as efficient as the Anvils. So make sure you click here for the Divine Gateway of the Dunezenkel. Now, before we begin, I have a disclaimer about the Summoner class. It needs a lot of polish. I'm not trying to scare you away from the class or from this video. I'm simply telling you the absolute truth. You are better off playing any other class currently in Alpha 3. I have guides for all the other solo viable classes. But let me tell you about the Summoner, okay? It does not do anything better than the other classes at all. There is nothing better than it does. Maybe exploration, because you can tell your pet to go up on a ledge that no one can ever get to and then teleport to it. That's like the only thing that the Summoner is good at. It is very, very micro-intensive. You're going to be pushing way more buttons playing this class than any other class. Maybe the Rogue, I don't know. But it's very micro-intensive. It's not an easy-to-play snooze class like the Hunter was in World of Warcraft. There is no reason to ever invite a Summoner to a group. There just isn't. Other classes fill the slots better. This is also the worst PvE and PvP class in the game, bar none. It is also incredibly gear reliant. Alright, now with that warning, if you still want to play Summoner, you can continue watching the video. Otherwise, go check out any of my other best start class guides. Once you spawn in, we will be changing our ranged weapon, and that is currently the wand and a dull focus. So what we want to do instead is, if you look at this pillar, as soon as we spawn in to the right, we're going to run to this pillar. And behind the pillar, there is like a small table with some weapons on it. We have like an adventurer's axe and so on. But if we continue along this row of barrels, there is a musty spellbook on this table right here behind the red awning. We're going to pick up the musty spellbook and equip that, removing the wand and dull focus. And you can go ahead and trash these items. The reason we want a musty spellbook instead of a wand is because we are going to be upgrading and crafting better spellbooks. And the spellbook is a splash damage ranged weapon, and we will be AoE farming with our Summoner, and it's better stats, it's more damage, it's faster clear speed than the wand and the focus. We hit more targets. We will primarily be fighting with our ranged auto attack and casting spells, while our pet does the majority of the heavy lifting. Also, our starting pet is going to be the Spirit Guardian, so push the K button, click this little plus symbol right down here in the bottom, and you get to choose which pet you want. The Spirit Guardian is a tank, the Hunter is a DPS, and the Mystic is a healer. Now, currently in the game, the Spirit Guardian is the best choice because it actually has the highest amount of group or multiple mob DPS. It has a slam attack that will be hitting everything around it while holding aggro, which is it's exactly how we want to play Summoner early game. If you go DPS, you're killing one mob at a time, you're not being very efficient. If you go Spirit Guardian, you're killing an entire room of mobs once you hit level 6 or 7, and I'll show you that later, but it is way easier to play with the Spirit Guardian than any other pet class in the game. And so, once you have chosen that, go ahead and summon it so that you have it out. And the way the Spirit Guardian works is it scales off of your gear, your levels, and your stats. But there's a few other things that we need to do before we even get started with playing the game. And that is hotkeys and our UI. You can see our UI is very messy here. So open your skill tree menu, push K, and this will allow you to move around your skills. Now, Spirit Shred is something we're going to be casting in every single fight, and I have to explain. Spirit Shred, while initially it won't do a lot of damage, we're going to be spreading this kind of like a curse, like a Warlock curse on enemies. What is important, though, is that this spell generates what's called Essence, which is this bar in the top left corner, which is what allows our pet to spam its abilities. Alright, so again, very important that we learn to use Spirit Shred, but for hotkeys, you want to have Command Sick. This is the pet's attack key, somewhere on your hotbar. You're also going to want your pet to have the follow command on your hotbar with a hotkey that you're going to push. You're going to want, you know, the stay command and the move to location command also on your hotbar. Now, as far as the other pet abilities, the only one we're going to be using for the majority of the early game is Stomp. We do not need Brace or even Taunt. We just won't need these. And so you're going to want to put Stomp on your hotbar, and you will not be using the Automate Pet Abilities Instant Cast Smart Casting thing. You will not have this on, because if you do, it will cast Brace, it will cast Taunt, and waste its essence and lower your overall DPS, or damage per second, meaning you will kill monsters much slower. I also recommend that you move the pet bar somewhere comfortable, and perhaps make it smaller if you can in all regards. So I'm just going to scale mine down a whole bunch here. And you still want it available. You still want the buttons to be pushable or clickable. And a few things that we also need to learn with the pet is that if you have it in defensive or assist stance, and you are in combat, the follow command will not peel it from combat. In order for the pet to follow you, you have to set it to passive and then use command follow. But just some quick basics. Get used to moving your pet around. You can move your pet around manually with move location, so you can tell it to go pretty much anywhere you want. You can have it, you know, just move around the battlefield if you want. But generally, you want it to be following you, and you generally want it to be on defensive or assist stance. There's not too much of a difference when just doing mob grinding, defensive being usually the better choice. Whenever you initiate combat, you want to be using Sick, so that your pet will engage the target in front of you before you actually end up engaging it. And I'll go over more pet controls as we play, but for now, let's get started with our quest route. Alright, so the quest route we want to take is called Hammer's Rest, or Hammer Rest, rather. It is the more streamlined, more efficient, better gathering, better grinding zone than the bonfire. So to get there, we have two NPCs in front of us. They have red diamonds over their heads. That means we can talk and interact with them and get a quest. So we're going to talk to Gatewatcher Stonebeard and click Might and Industry and click Yes, and then we will skip the dialogue. There we go. So this puts us going to the eastern part of the mountain. By the way, this is the world. We are in a snowy dwarven mountain kind of thing. And the quests we're going to do are going to take us here to Hammer Rest, eventually to Hammer Rest Trade Outpost, and down here to the Veinbreaker Mines. This is your level 1 to 10 kind of early game zone. If we chose the other quest route, we would go here to Bonfire, to the Trade Outpost, and then elsewhere. To the Nexus Regulator, it's a similar zone, but there's less to gather around Bonfire. It's a more confusing zone. It's less streamlined. Worse grind spots entirely, so Hammer Rest is just way, way better. And to begin, the game wants us to kill 5 empty Clayborns. Alright, so that are these level 1 red statues during this path. You can see on our mini-map we have a quest zone where there's just a ton of these guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing some Destiny quests while we fight these guys. Destiny quests, if you push the L button, are kind of like starter beginner quests that help you kind of get your feel for the game. They give you nice rewards, some of them being random chest rewards with weapons and armor, and that's why we're going to be speedrunning these, essentially. So let me give you a list of everything we need to do against these level 1 empty Clayborn. So on screen right now is a list of all the things that we need to do while we fight and grind on these level 1 empty Clayborn. And let me show you what happens when we do one of them. So number 3 is to sprint once out of combat. You can be in combat if you want, but I'm going to sprint, and you'll see on the screen there will be a pop-up. It says Destiny Objective Complete. Alright, so when I push the L button and open the Destinies, you can see Novice Combat is now 1 out of 8 completed. We have a little star here that says Use Sprint. When I click on this, I can claim a reward for 48 experience points. My progress is 1 out of 8 in this top right, and when I get 2 out of 8, I'll get a reward, and then 4 out of 8, I'll get another one, and then 8 out of 8, or you get the idea. I don't know exactly how many you need. I think it's like 4, 6, and 8 or something like that. But you can see here, we just need to do all of these. So we're going to be attacking 10 times with melee. So I'm going to switch to my melee weapon, which is the scepter here. And we're just going to auto-attack the mob. The pet will then engage it as well, and that's fine. Don't worry about the pet right now. The pet is very, very weak because we have no gear and no levels. So we don't really want it. We can't even fully utilize the pet yet. And by the way, as a level 1 character, when you kill these empty Clayborns, they will always drop this item called red clay chunks. Once you're level 2, they stop dropping this. Go ahead. These things aren't very useful. They're not worth farming. But you can go ahead and right-click one now, and you'll start eating. And that completes a destiny objective under the first steps, giving you 200 XP, right? And that will also level you to 2, and now they don't drop the food item anymore. But we still need to, you can see here, I just did the perform a melee weapon combo 10 times. We need to do it for ranged. And I'm just going to show you everything you need to do on screen. I'm not going to record myself doing all of these. That would make the video longer than it needs to be. This will already be about a 2-hour-long video. But go ahead and do all of these quests as you fight these Clayborns. And remember, you need to kill 5 of these to do the main story quest. So at this point, you should have 5 out of 8 on Novice, 1 out of 8 on First Steps. You should be level 2, and your quest should have updated on the map here to show that you need to run to the next quest NPC. By the way, this starter zone has invisible walls, so you can't like jump off the bridge and die. So don't be afraid to look around and explore, but as far as I'm aware, this is the only place in the game with invisible walls. I have played all over the freaking zone, and it's only this starter zone that has invisible walls that prevent you from, like, jumping off the ledge and stuff. So, again, this game isn't going to be linear hallways. It's just this starter zone. But we're going to run up to the NPC. We're going to turn in the quest and get the follow-up. By doing so, we have a amulet reward. We're going to equip that, and by equipping this amulet, our novice combat is now 6 out of 8 because one of those was equip a necklace. We're also going to claim all of these rewards. There we go. That's going to help us level up, a little bit. We're going to also click claim up here. This is going to give us an adventurer's health kit and a lost weapon chest. In the lost weapon chest, you're going to right click it. You get to choose a reward. We want to choose the lost spellbook as our weapon, which will replace our musty spellbook, and we can then trash that. For our adventurer's health kit, I recommend that you choose the novice health salve. You can also go with rations, but you don't really need these. These act as a healing potion that you can use in combat. Alright, now at level 2, it's very important also. You'll notice that your summon is probably hurt a little bit. And there's a few ways to heal your summon. You can push the X button and sit down, and when you are resting, your summon is also resting. But the better way is to learn this ability, Reconstruct. Go ahead and learn Reconstruct. I'm going to drag this to my E button. And whenever you cast this, it will cast a heal over time spell on your summon. Which, anytime you are in combat or your summon is not fully healed, you should always be using this spell to heal your summon. Now, again, our summon will start to scale very well when we have gear, but right now it's still very squishy, despite being a tank summon. And we're going to now run to the next NPC. You don't need to kill these level 2 Clayborn laborers. Don't worry, these guys have a crappy drop table. We're going to grind better mobs than these. So just run to the next quest objective. Once you reach the NPC, we're going to then get the quest, do the follow-up. There we go. Now, that will give us a mount. I'll talk about the mount in a bit. It's not important right now, but we're going to talk to this NPC and get the next part of the quest. Go to this orb, push F to attune ourselves to it, and when we die, we will be able to respawn here, or if we die near this, we will be able to choose this as our respawn point, and we will then go back to this NPC, get the quest and the follow-up. There we go. Now, it wants us to defeat Stone Woke Automata, which are these little robot scorpion monsters up ahead. And it's pretty simple. Just kill them until they drop the quest item. So what I'm doing right now is I casted Spirit Shred. Then I use Stomp as our essence permits. And that's our rotation right now. It's not a big rotation. It's pretty simple stuff. We're just auto-attacking with our magic spellbook while we cast, again, Stomp and Spirit Shred. That's pretty much it. After killing a few, you should be able to get the gold-etched gear, which is required for the quest. And then we are going to now run to the next NPC to turn this in. But along the way, we will come across Archaeologist Hatcher, which we're going to then talk to, and get a quest to help clean off this stone thing in front of us. So get near the stone thing, push the F button to clean it. This is a progress bar of how long it takes to clean this, by the way. So don't move until this is done. Though the quest sometimes bugs out and auto-completes for some reason. In this case, it didn't. Now, after that's done, make sure you talk to Archaeologist Hatcher again and turn in the quest. So many people don't do this. You have to turn it into the NPC to get the credit, alright? And then we will now move along to the next NPC, which will level us to 3. And at this point, I'm going to explain just a little bit about how the world works, how dying works, but we're going to talk to Ash real quick, turn in the quest, and get the follow-up, and it's going to have us pick up one of these crates. Don't pick it up yet. It's very important that you don't touch the crate, because you could be in danger. I'll explain. Alright, so I want to explain death mechanics and the world, and a little bit about mounts. Mounts are important for keeping you alive. Let's start with death mechanics. In Ashes of Creation, when you die, you have a 25% trash rate on your materials bag. Materials are things gathered and picked up from monsters. So monster parts, in this case, we're getting glint. Glint is something that we can, sell for silver, gold, copper, and it's also used to barter with NPCs and settlements. But for early game, it's just a way to make money. That's all this is. So when you die, you will have 25% of everything in your materials bags trash every single time. So if you have 10 of these, you're losing 2.5 of these, right? But also, another 25% of your materials will drop on the ground. And other players can loot or steal this, which will flag them as a criminal for like 3 minutes, meaning anyone can attack them and kill them or whatever. It also means that as a criminal, guards will attack them. But unfortunately, in this newbie starter zone, there are no guards until a little bit later. So, also when you die, you incur what's called an experience debt. So if you look at my experience bar on level 2 and 3,600 XP, 97% completed, right down here at the bottom, okay? When you die, a red mark will appear on your experience bar, which is a debt. It will not take away your experience, it will just prevent you from earning experience until that debt is paid. To pay the debt, if I were to die right now, I'd owe an experience of debt of like 300 experience. So I would kill like 2 mobs and the debt would be paid. However, at a higher level, dying multiple times, you could rack up a debt of like 200,000 experience, and that is hours of grinding that you will that you have to do until you can continue to progress your character. So it's very important that you don't die and that you take death very seriously, because early game, losing your glint is going to cost you time and put you behind. And later, if you did a lot of mining or tree chopping and you get killed, you're going to lose a lot of those materials. So it is not a good idea to ever die in this game. So in order to prevent you from dying, you're going to have to learn a few basic mechanics. Luckily, as a summoner, you have a pet that can pull aggro and kind of be a sacrificial lamb while you make your escape. Other classes don't really get this privilege. But mounts are one of the better ways to escape death. And so what you want to do is you want to hotkey your mount. So something comfortable that you can push, for me, it's Shift G. I know that may not be comfortable for you, but for my hands, it is. So I'm going to push Shift G. This puts a mount in the world. This mount has a health bar. It can be killed. Other players can attack it. Monsters will aggro this and attack it. It has, well, let me move the text. You can see it has 700 HP, okay? So, this mount, you can also unsummon it by pushing the same mount skill button that you've assigned, and that will just kind of have it run away and disappear. In which case, you can then resummon it back again. So, when a mount dies, it will go on a 10-minute long cooldown, meaning you can't summon it for 10 whole minutes. Now, you can circumvent this by having multiple mounts, but you're not going to get that early game as a new player. Your mount, when mounted, has an ability called Dash, and you want to also hotkey this so that you can use Dash, increasing your movement speed so that you can make a quick getaway. So, when you are dying in a PvE or PvP situation, what you want to do is summon your mount, mount up, and dash away immediately to try to escape. run far enough away from regular mobs, and they will lose aggro and return to their original position. So that is one way to save your butt from, you know, dying, right? But also a few of the little tricks of the trade is on your mount, if you were to jump from a high place and land, you will take fall damage. The mount will take the fall damage and die. You will survive and take no damage. So if you need to jump off a cliff as a shortcut, you can absolutely do that. And currently in Alpha 3, if you are to unsummon your mount right before hitting the ground, you will jump off of it safely, losing all momentum of your fall. The mount will take no fall damage and unsummon itself, and it's just a way to get to just kind of traverse the world very, very quickly. Speaking of the world, you may be used to games like World of Warcraft or other MMORPGs where there are big cities, big bustling cities that are always the same, like Stormwind or Orgrimmar or Ironforge. Not in Ashes of Creation. Ashes of Creation instead is a sandbox, and the cities and towns are built by the players. So, in this regard, we have a starter zone here called Hammer Rest and also the Hammer Rest trade outposts. So that would be here and here, and you'll see this in just a bit in the video. These areas only have novice crafting stations, novice being levels 1 to 10. And you can't really craft anything all that good, except, well, we're going to learn a few good crafts for levels 1 to 10. But other than that, the gear you can get here, the things you can make are all absolutely dog poop doo-doo garbage, okay? In order to craft better things and refine more things and be more efficient with your crafting benches and all of your trade skills, you have to go to a settlement. Settlements are not like, again, it's not Orgrimmar, it's not Stormwind. These are player-built cities. Let me show you an example. Here we have Valgadim, and this is a player-built city that has a mayor that is an actual player, that is run by citizens. At level 10, you can choose to become a citizen of an area, and that choice is account-wide. You can change it, of course, but it's account-wide. You can't make multiple characters and be a citizen in different towns unless you have multiple copies of the game. Anyway, each town is different. I'm playing this character on an established server. If you are playing on a fresh server, these towns will not be built up nearly as much as this. But you can see there's walls, there's buildings, and there's a whole lot going on here. There's empty plots for things to be built. You got a a smithy. There's a whole lot going on in this little town, right? And other towns might be built up more or less. Like this town, not so much. It's looking a little more rinky-dink, I suppose. But again, all the cities and towns in this game are player created. Also, the world is rather large. There is no fast travel, no teleports, as far as I know. And if we were to manually ride from this starter zone to the other starter zone, which is all the way down here, let me zoom out, all the way down here to this area, it would take 1 hour of real-life time riding on our mount from here to get all the way down to here. It's a 1 hour ride, and there's a lot more of the world than, just between the two starter zones. So this is a pretty big map, and it's only going to get bigger because, again, this game is still in alpha, okay? And, yeah, it's a massive world. There's a whole lot to do. There's a lot of stuff to discover. And anyway, with that said, let me tell you why I chose to tell you about these mechanics that pertains to picking up this backpack. When you pick up a trade pack or a backpack, you will lose your PvP protection. By the way, this little dove icon is shared in some towns or settlements as something else. So you're not always PvP protected if you see the dove. Make sure you mouse over to make sure you're getting the PvP protection. When you reach level 10, you lose this forever. That means, yes, other players can attack you, they can kill you, they can take your stuff. That's just how it is. That's the game. Alright? However, when you pick up a backpack or a trade pack, I'm going to do that now, you'll notice that I lose the PvP protection. It is gone. Yes, that means a high-level player can come here and grief a level 2 player. There are no guards around to save us. So, when you have a trade pack, you'll notice I'm moving very slowly. You may think, well, just summon a mount, you'll move faster. Nope. The only way you can move faster on a mount with a trade pack on your back is a Beast of Burden mount, which our starter mount is not. The only other way to move faster, you could use sprint, or you can do combat dodge rolls, which is what I recommend. Let's do a combat dodge roll, and we are going to dodge roll to the next quest objective. Alright, and then once you reach the NPC, make sure to turn this in. There we go, and get the follow-up, of course. That should put you at level 3. It should. Alright, now, since we don't have the trade pack anymore, we don't get that PvP protection back for at least 3 to 5 minutes. I don't know the exact amount of time, but it's pretty short. And in the starter zone, I've never seen anyone except me grief it. And the guy I griefed, I gave him like 3 gold to compensate him, and he knew who I was, so it was pre-planned. Anyway, the next quest has us collect heart stones, not hearthstones, but heart stones. Also, I don't know how there are birds indoors, or maybe that's bats. Yeah, I think those are bats. Anyway, this quest is kind of bugged. When you get to this room, the Claiborne Guardians on the left will not drop the quest reward, as far as I know. It's been that way for like 3 weeks. However, the Claiborne Guardians on the right side will drop the quest item needed. So just kill the ones on the right side. Now, we are level 3, and at level 3, we're going to learn the ability Mortal Blast. This one's important, okay? This is our first area of effect spell, which you're going to want to have. And so our the way we're going to be doing this is we're going to fight 2 Claiborne Guardians at a time. But right now, if you try to do that, your summon's going to get absolutely wrecked. But you'll notice as we've been playing, and this is a drop. I actually got this as a lucky drop, so this doesn't exist in your world. All right, we have some chests, and it's very important that we pick the right reward. So let me explain. You're going to have a choice between light, medium, and heavy armor. And you may be thinking, well, duh, pick heavy armor for more defense, right? Wrong. Let me explain. Each armor has its own kind of little stats to go with it. So this light armor, while it's magic defense, has wisdom and magic accuracy. It's also part of the light armor set, giving us magic defense. The medium armor has dexterity, which is a physical stat, and physical power, and gives us the medium trait, defense +6 if we get 5 pieces. The heavy armor gives us dexterity, another physical trait, physical crit chance, or just crit chance in general, and physical defense, with heavy being 10% physical defense. For all of the quest rewards for 1 to 10, we will be choosing light armor for a couple reasons. Reason number 1, the magic stats on light armor are superior for how we're going to be playing the game. So go ahead and open your chests and pick the light armor. You see right here, common light armor. It'll have only magic defense. This has wisdom and disable evasion. Alright, so in this case, we have a chest piece with magic defense and so on and so forth. Now, in this case, I actually got, I want to talk about item drops too. Because, like, here is the quest reward, Lost Robes, 59 magic defense. Here's an item drop, 59 magic defense. Constitution, magic accuracy, constitution, and mentality, right? Which one is better? Here's what's better. Mob drops that don't have superior stats, okay? You want to pick whichever has the highest stats, but in this case, a mob drop has a second set bonus called Force. When I get 5 of these pieces, I get Strength and Intelligence boosted, which is really nice. So in this case, I would put this on, all right? And we're going to put on the gloves and the bracers, and now our stats are much higher. So, I want to explain a little something too, with the summoner in particular, and this could get fixed in the future, but it's an alpha. Whenever your stats increase, it does not always reflect on your summon. So, always keep a piece of gear. In this case, I'm just going to have the Adventurer's Garb in my inventory at all times, and just swap between it until the stats refresh. It does not always work, so you might have to click it a few times. You can see here, my Spirit Guardian HP, it will go up and down. Boop, boop. See? And so, whenever it does refresh, then you're good to go. Your Spirit Guardian will be locked in with the stats. Also, make sure to top them up and heal them before you do any kind of pulls. So yeah, now that we have our gear situated, our Spirit Guardian is in a better place. We have 2 spells to work with, and we have full essence. This is how you're going to do your early pulls. We're going to have our pet attack the first Claiborne Guardian here. There we go. We're going to have the pet attack the second Claiborne Guardian. Then we're going to tell the Claiborne Guardian to run over here, which we're going to put it on passive so that it will do that, or click follow. We're going to run it kind of over here. Then we'll set it back to defensive and have it fight the 2 Claiborne Guardians. We're going to be casting Spirit Shred on one Guardian. While spamming Mortal Blast, we're also casting Stomp. So you can cast both of these at the same time, because one is casted from your pet, and the other one is casted from your summon. And also, we're going to be casting Reconstruct every time it's off cooldown so that it heals our pet while it's in combat. We're going to cast Spirit Shred every time it's off cooldown. We're going to cast Stomp every time it's off cooldown. And Mortal Blast every time there is a charge on it. So you're just going to be pushing these 4 buttons over and over and over. We're going to be using our ranged weapon because the spellbook does splash damage. And yeah, this takes a bit of time to kill these mobs. It will get faster. Don't worry, it will get faster, but right now it's a little bit slow. After killing 2 of the Spirit Guardians, we're going to then sit down whenever combat ends so that we heal and our summon heals. And we're going to cast Reconstruct to also speed up the process. There we go. And then we're going to be sitting down. And once our Spirit Guardian is back to full HP, we will then repeat the process over again. Now, right now, we only are strong enough or geared enough to pull 2 of these at a time. And the reason we don't fight these where they spawn is because if we kill one, it will then respawn. And we want to pull them away from their spawns. Just like this. There we go. And again, now we can start, you know, doing our spell rotations. So, again, I'm just casting Mortal Blast while I cast Stomp every time they're up. And then I'm casting Spirit Shred every time it's up. And Reconstruct every time it is up. And when nothing is up, you just let your auto attacks do its thing, and that's pretty much it. And this, again, this will get very, very fast. Our damage will scale, but right now we're low level, and these guys are pretty tough for our class. Now, as you do this, you will get weapon skill level ups as well. And so you're going to go over here to the weapon tab. It may be a little hard to see because of the text, but go to the weapon tab. For the Rusty Scepter, we're not going to be using this hardly ever. So this choice doesn't matter. I'm just going to pick Daze. This choice, again, does not matter. We also have a second skill point. We're going to do Deadly Finisher Chance. Confirm it. Now, what does matter for Lost Spellbook, we're going to choose Burning. This will just deal damage over time to the enemies we are attacking. Alright? And then we're going to choose Deadly Finisher Chance 1. And we're going to continue as we get weapon level ups to Deadly Finisher Chance 2 and 3. For your stamina choice, this does not matter, and because it's alpha, you can always respec. I just choose Focus Sprint because I like to sprint around. But again, these don't really matter until you get very high level. We're not a tank, so you don't really ever need to pick the mental fortification training stuff here. Like, these don't matter too much. Reflexes is fine if you like to dodge a lot. We don't really do much dodging, other than as to move around faster. Also, as you do this, you will be completing some destinies in their first steps. We've got kill 10 enemies, we've got summon a mount, and complete 5 quests. We can also claim Dim Glint and an Adventurer's Health Kit. Yeah, but as we level, we're going to eventually get the Archetype Stamina skills and Weapon skills. These will fill out, giving us a reward for a better, stronger weapon, okay? But other than that, what we're going to be doing right now is we are going, even though we've completed the quest, we are going to grind these mobs, Claiborne Guardians, and you can also try Laborers if you want. We're going to grind these until we are level 4.5. Right now I am level 3 and 42%, so essentially I'm going to be here for a little bit. It doesn't take too long, and it will get faster as we do this. And, sometimes your summon will just completely bug out and disappear. If that happens, just resummon it. It's an alpha. The summoner needs a lot of polish. I didn't even want to make a guide for summoner until they, like, fixed it. But, yeah, sometimes your summon will just disappear randomly. And if you want to be adventurous, you could try pulling 3 of these guys. I wouldn't so much yet, like not at the moment. You got to be kind of careful with this, because these guys can kill your summon, and then it's a pain in the butt to run away from them. But yeah, again, just keep grinding, and it'll get faster when we get more gear. You just got to keep at it. Also, be aware, some mobs have AI that will target you over the pet even if you've never attacked them. So just keep that in mind. Like, this guy's jumping at me, so you still have to pay attention to your to what's going on around you, because the mobs they just have a mind of their own sometimes, right? Alright, and they have knocked down the pet. There we go. Let's pull them over here. And again, you can kind of, you can just fight the Laborers, the Guardians, or Laborers and Guardians. And what you want to do is you want to see how many you can pull at a time and how many you kill at a time, and just play around with it, see what you're comfortable with. It's a process, but it will get faster. So if you haven't read the tooltip, the way Mortal Blast works is it spreads your Spirit Shred around, which is going to build up your essence much faster, and allow your pet to spam its ability more often. Also, it's an AoE explosion. It's the highest DPS thing that we could have possibly chosen out of the list of abilities right now. So that's just how it is. And make sure that you're looting the mobs that you down too. Like, I just got some gauntlets here, and these are, well, they're heavy, so I don't really want to wear those. But, and another reason I forgot to mention, why we are choosing light armor is later we have this ability called defensive transmutation that when we have magical defense, it will scale our pet's physical defense. And so that will make our pet super freaking tanky. Oh, by the way, as a summoner, you are pretty mana hungry, so just sit down and restore your mana whenever necessary. Now, another way to also play is once you're comfortable using your pet to pull the mobs, you don't have to use the pet to pull the mobs. You could pull the mobs because, hey, we have HP too. You know, we're not entirely the squishiest thing ever. So what I like to do is I'm just going to pull, you know, these 3 here. Or maybe we could try for 4. Let's try for 4. Let's get a little dastardly here. Right? We pulled 4 mobs, and I'm going to pull the pet to me because I still have all the aggro. When the mobs are near the pet, I'm going to slam on the ground, and then I'm going to start my rotation here. And you can see we're pulling 4 right now. We're doing our rotation. The pet's holding, which is good. Right, there we go. I'm going to tab to something with more HP and get a Spirit Shred on that. And again, as we do this, we are going to get weapon level ups. And again, just smash every ability that's that's currently on cooldown. And you can see I very easily pulled 4 of these guys. As you get into better practice, you can pull more and more and more. As your gear gets better and as you level up, you will also be able to pull more and more at a time. Remember, as your weapons level up, you want to increase the deadly finisher chance on both your weapons. That's the path we're going. And by doing so, this will start to complete your novice combat destinies. Now, these 2 are kind of bugged. The learn skills from weapon trees and the learn skills from archetype and stamina trees, they don't always complete. Sometimes logging off and back on refreshes them. Sometimes the server is so strained because it's alpha that it just won't update for hours. So if you get stuck, you get stuck. If not, it's not a big deal. We're going to get better weapons than the reward gives anyway later on. So I managed to pull 5 mobs, and I leveled the 4 in the middle of it, and the pet barely lived. And you can see right now, this thing just respawned because I didn't pull it away. And yeah, so that's going to put the pet in a little bit of jeopardy there, but just fighting 1 enemy, not that big of a deal. The pet can clearly tank this, and we could easily kill it just as a single mob. Again, the rotation doesn't change 1 mob to multiple mobs. Now, at level 4, you're going to learn Inspiration. This means the pet moves faster. Your attacks also generate, or its attacks generate 1 extra additional essence. This is going to make it so that you can spam its stomp ability more often. And because we are AoE mob grinding, there is no other choice here that benefits us. We will get Hex later for single target, but it is not necessary, and it's not something we really weave into our rotation, honestly. If the servers are working at level 4, you should unlock the final Novice Combat reward here. You can claim this for a weapon chest, which will allow us to choose a Tome of Spells, which is way better than what we have. We go from 152 magic power to 397. And let me explain how gear works a little bit. Your gear, when not in use, like for instance, I've been using this Tome of Spells to attack. Well, I still get the stat bonuses from the Rusty Scepter, okay? The only time you do not get a stat bonus is if you are using a shield, and when you don't have the shield equipped, you will not get the block chance. But we're not using a shield with this character, we're using a focus. So, again, powering up all of your weapons and offhands is very beneficial because it all scales. Having a very strong scepter means that my spellbook does tons of damage. Having a very strong spellbook, even if I'm swinging with the scepter, increases my damage. So always, always, always upgrade all of your weapons. Don't just pick one and upgrade one. Upgrade all of them that you can wear because, again, they all scale. When you level up, sometimes your Spirit Guardian will not update its stats. So again, unequip and re-equip your shirt to make sure that its stats are lined up properly. This could be, when servers aren't working correctly. And I'm aware that the text probably hid that, so let me show that once again. So there we go. We've updated our Spirit Guardian stats, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm playing 8 hours after a server restart. If you're playing 2 days after a server restart, it starts to get a little laggy and doesn't update, but that's just Summoner. It's an alpha. Deal with it. So at some point, you're going to have the Loot 5 Items Destiny quest, so we will go ahead and do that. What is this guy doing? Okay, level 5. So, when we're level 4, and we have that spellbook, let me show you how much easier it is to pull these mobs. And I'm going to kind of walk you through what I'm doing. So I'm just going to do a ranged attack on these Guardians, and they're going to be pulled to me. Alright. I'm spamming follow on my pet, even though it's set to defensive stance, alright? And so, I'm going to set the pet now to attack this one. I'm going to stand on my pet, because the mobs are still on me, right? I'm going to heal my pet. I'm going to start doing stomp on my pet. The pet now has pulled aggro off of me onto it, and now I will start my spell rotation. And look how fast these guys just die. And look how often I can stomp. They're already all dead. Like, I didn't even get to use all of my mortal blasts. But that is, that pull went from, remember, at level 3, when we did the same pull, our pet nearly died and it took forever to kill them all. Whereas now, they die, we're still near full HP and full mana. So this means we can pull way more than 5 mobs if we want to. And this will get you to level 4.5 very, very quickly. And the thing is, yeah, we could stay here and grind all the way to level 8 if we wanted to. But we want to go and continue questing and get better gear and do a whole lot more. And so, get adventurous with it. Try to pull even more mobs. You can see I've got like 7 on me now, 8... This will be 9, 10 over here. I got 10 mobs now. Where's my pet? My pet's fighting over there. I don't, you know, you want your pet to come to you, right? And so the pathfinding gets a little weird sometimes. Here, let's tell the pet to attack this thing that I'm attacking, and we're gonna start stomping. And then I need to get closer to my pet so that it pulls all the aggro. And now I'm just gonna start blowing them up here with mortal blasts. I also need to heal the pet because it is taking a lot of damage. But look at this. We're gonna blow all of these dudes up. And again, stomp every time it's off cooldown. One of the mobs reset, unfortunately, for some reason. If mobs get stuck in the terrain, they just reset rather than pathfind. It kind of sucks, but that's just the game at the moment. And while, yeah, it's taking us longer to kill this massive pack of mobs, we're still able to do it pretty much safely, right? It's not so bad. We've got them all cleared out, and there we go. We're almost level 4.5. Also, that mob just pathfined back to the start. Normally they don't do this, but again, I pulled them near a pillar and they're getting stuck in the terrain. And the pet's kind of in an area where if the mobs feel like they can't reach their target, they will then reset. And that's what the pet kind of did there. But again, our pet's at half HP. I'm a little under half. We can do some more pulls here because there's more players in the area now. It's players are waking up. It is morning time. Heal the pet. Let's get the stomps going so it pulls aggro off of me. And again, this is also why we went Guardian. It's just better overall. More stomps, more mortal blasts. And again, the process is very quick, and it's only going to get faster when we get better gear. Now, you may be thinking, oh, this is impressive. So, you said at the start of the video that Summoner kind of sucks. That's what you've implied, and yes, it does. Because other classes can AoE farm, wrong game. Other classes can farm an AoE way better than what we're doing with way less buttons to push with way more ease. So, yeah. But yeah, we are now level 4.5. We're going to go ahead and heal up before proceeding to the next area. So, the next area has some elevators, which can be kind of annoying because if you pull a bunch of mobs, it could be trouble. Now, luckily, this guy kind of ran through the zone and pulled the mobs for us. That won't always be the case. So you just have to be careful. Also, your pet, even though it's following us, will pull aggro. So this is the elevator, and sometimes they get stuck. If they get stuck, then you just talk to the NPC and say, hey, the elevator isn't working. But otherwise, you have to wait on this gate to open and then ride the elevator up. I think you've rode an elevator before in your life. See, there it is. But if you talk to the NPC, you can just get teleported up top. Sometimes it will or will not teleport your pet with you, so you will have to resummon it. Sometimes it'll just appear. Sometimes you can use the move command, and the pet will just teleport to you like that. But anyway, there's a quest NPC up here. He wants us to use healing salves on these guys. Now, this is not using the healing salves that we have. This is using a quest item that's a healing salve. Oh, and by the way, grinding the mobs, they sometimes drop good loot. They drop some earrings that we can put on there. And again, we got a quest reward. So again, always be checking those chests, get those quest rewards. You want your stats to be updated, right? Now, we're going to do this 3 times. We're going to use 3 healing salves on these NPCs, and then we'll proceed to the next area. So as you run down this hallway and you try to summon your mount, it only works towards the end of the hallway. It's bugged. I don't know why this hallway is really weird with mounts. Now, as far as this elevator attendant goes, it will most likely teleport you behind the bars, meaning you're going to have to wait on the elevator regardless. It doesn't always. So I just, in this one, if the elevators are working, I'll just use it rather than cheat with the teleport NPC. But once we get to the top, this will be the first main crafting hub of the game, and that is Hammer Rest. It's not too confusing. I mean, the first time you play, yeah, you'll be a little bit lost, but it's just big rooms with lots of staircases and hallways. That's all it is. So we're going to walk over here, and you, by the way, you can't talk to NPCs on your mount for some reason. We're going to go ahead and talk to this NPC and get the quest. And then, now, at this point, your mini-map will be blank. It'll be black. It's an alpha. They'll fill it out later. But you should still be able to kind of finagle your way around. Also, if you open the mini-map and there's no icons, just close and reopen it. That's a bug. But we're going to walk over to Provisioner... What's their name? Provisioner Hammersong. And talk to them. There we go. Go ahead and talk to them now. Getting a quest to craft a bag. And we're going to craft 2 bags. We're an overachiever because the bags are decent. Now, this quest giver gave us a few things. They gave us a bunch of gathering tools, which we already have gathering tools. Let me explain. Also, we're level 5. That's why we grinded to 50%. But gathering tools are under the artisanship tab of your character, like sheet. And the difference between gathering tools is not much. Like 2 fishing speed, whoop-de-doo, right? Look at the durability. 38 versus 165. So what we want to do is right-click and equip all of the green gathering tools we just got. Very, very cool. Now, 165 durability on a gathering tool is about 1 hour of gathering before it breaks. Now, when gear in this game breaks, you can repair it at any NPC that is a vendor. You'll see this guy says laboratory vendor. So if you talk to the vendor, there is a repair button. There is a repair all button. Sometimes this button doesn't work. If it's not working, you have to click repair. Open your character pane with the hammer icon and doink all the stuff that's broken. You have to click artisanship and doink all the stuff you've used to gather. Alright, when I say doink, I mean the sound a hammer makes when you hit something like metal or whatever, okay? But another thing that's important is you don't want to get rid of this gathering gear either. Here's why. Let's say you go fishing, and fishing is an AFK activity in this game. When you go fishing, after an hour, your fishing pole will break. Well, if you're not done fishing yet, you can pop on this fishing pole and continue fishing for another 10 to 15 minutes or whatever, okay? We got some more quest rewards. We're going to open them up. This time, this one is pants. And we're going to go ahead and slap those on. And we got a... This is a recipe to craft a belt. We're not going to be crafting this. These belts all kind of suck. But you're going to learn the Lost Soul Falls, which is the magic defense-based light belt, okay? We're going to rely on mob drops to fill out our belt, helmet, boots, cape, earrings, rings, all of that gear, and sometimes offhand. Sometimes you're offhand too. But other than that, we're not crafting those items from levels 1 to 10. We're just going to hope we get mob drops, and most likely we're going to be doing a lot of grinding, so we will probably get plenty. Now, before we do any bag crafting, there's a few other things we need to, well, that I need to teach you. And that is how to safeguard your damn stuff, okay? It's also part of the Destiny rewards that we're going to be doing. So, we're going to walk over here to the mailbox icon. And this is the mailbox. We're not going to be using it. But next to the mailbox is the storage clerk. Talk to the storage clerk. Click, I want to access my storage. And this step is very, very important. When using a storage clerk, and every settlement, every town, every little starter area, all has a different storage. They are not shared. When you store stuff in one place, it does not automatically give it to you in the other. It's completely separate storages, okay? Click materials. You'll notice that you have a little storage section here that you can put stuff in, right? Well, you don't want to store stuff here. What you want to do instead, you see how small this storage space is? You want to click this box and then click the general storage. It's the crate icon. And now look at your storage. It's massive. If you were to store a bunch of stuff in the other storage, you cannot switch until you remove it all. And if your bags are full, you can't remove it all. Then you have to run to another town, store it there, come back. It's a pain in the ass. So I just saved you a whole lot of trouble. While we're here, we are going to store everything from our materials bag. Not our inventory, not our items, but our materials bag that is not glint. Okay, this is dull glint, this is dim glint. We're not storing that. We are storing anything else that drops. So for me, that's a forge-bound emblem. And if it gets bugged, close it, reopen the storage so that you can right-click it in so it auto-sorts like that. And also, Anvil's Essence. If any of these dropped, be aware, for crafting, we need 20 of these. They drop from those Claiborne mobs. They drop from mountain lions, which we'll kill later. They drop from pretty much every mob in the zone. Though the Claiborne are probably the best for farming this. But just keep a mental note of how much Anvil's essence is in your storage. It's important for later. Now, what we need now is money. To get money, we're going to turn around and talk to this Stoneworks vendor. All right. Once you open the vendor, you're going to then right-click your dim glint and sell it. So 10 of these green ones sell for 10 silver. And 10 of these regular ones, when you don't have an inventory to sell, or when you don't have the vendor open, if you right-click them, they will become 1 dim glint. So 10 of these is still 1 silver. It just saves inventory space to do it this way, right? And when you have 10 of these, you can right-click it, and it becomes a 1x2 worth 10 silver. It does not increase or decrease the amount of silver something is worth. It simply makes it just cleans up your inventory space. That's all it does. So what you're going to do now is sell all of your glint, all of it. And hopefully this will put you around 20 silver. That's fine. If you died and lost some, you'll have less, unfortunately. Now, activating the storage and selling glint, you know what that did? That completed some of our destinies, okay? My novice combat is showing 0 out of 8. Okay, it fixed itself. But first steps should now be done. We have talked to the storage clerk. Boom, 200 XP. We reached level 5. That's 1,000 and 5 glint. And then we sold glint to a vendor. That's 200 XP. But also, we got some chests. And these chests have some good loot in them. I don't want to join the dude's guild. Whatever. Someone trying to G-invite me. Wanderer's chest. Again, we are going to choose the cloth option here. 153 magic defense. Now, you'll notice I have that mob drop that gives me the force set bonus. Well, this is triple the defense, so it's obviously better, all right? Next up is the melee weapon chest. Under the melee weapon, you're going to choose the scepter. All right, there we go. We have now upgraded our scepter from 71 magic power to 248. Ooh, big, huge. And 7 intelligence to 23 intelligence. So, again, huge upgrades, huge, huge, huge. We're going to be able to kill mobs even faster than before. That's why we didn't stay at the Claiborne and continue grinding. Even though it was easy as hell, we could pull most of the room. We want to upgrade our gear as much as we can to make our kill speed as fast as possible. Now, after doing all of that, you're going to sell any item drops you may have gotten that you can sell. So, for instance, like this glove is 36 copper. This book is 48. These pants that I no longer need. You want to, if you can't sell it, like these adventurer's pants, throw it away. Drag it to an open space, click accept. But always keep one piece of gear to swap with to update your pet. It's very important that you keep that piece of gear, okay? For me, I keep the adventurer's garb, okay, all right? But everything else we're not using, we're just going to sell. And then you want to tidy up your inventory a little bit too here. Just make it nice and clean because it's easier to deal with in the future. And let's, our pet is gone again. Again, the pet just likes to take a vacation for absolutely no reason. So we're going to resummon it now. And upon summoning, it should have the right stats, but sometimes it doesn't always. You can see right now its HP is 764. We're going to swap that. And it's still 764. So we know it's good. We'll top it up. And yeah. So now what are we going to do next? Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start doing some gathering. But not yet. There's one last thing we need to do. So looking at the storage clerk, turn to your right and walk over here to equipment vendor Liza. We have silver now. We're going to buy a few things. Open equipment vendor Liza's inventory, and you're going to buy 2 of these mining satchels. So I'm just going to right-click this twice. There'll be 2 mining satchels. These are gathering bags. It's going to cost us, after tax, 2 silver, 88 copper, or 288. That's how I word it, okay? Then close the vendor's inventory. Open your own inventory, and there's 2 ways to equip the bag. You can just right-click it, and that equips it. Now, you'll notice I have a mining satchel here. The other way that you should equip bags is you click the button, and you click the bag you want to put on. This is how you swap your bags, and yes, we will be bag swapping. These are not permanent. We need to do a lot of mining for weapon upgrades and crafting. So we're going to be doing mining. We're going to be doing tree chopping. We're going to be doing picking herbs for our starter bags and the starter main story quest. Also, again, before we set out, sell your glint. Also buying the bags completed under here, novice gathering, which is equip a gathering bag. So we're going to go ahead and claim that. By the way, if you did not grind to level 4.5, if you skipped that for some stupid reason, these will still be locked. Adventurer, crafting, gathering, and processing. You will not be allowed to level these up until you're level 5. And because the main story quest is having us do gathering, it makes sense to be level 5 before doing the main story quest so that we can complete some more of these objectives under destinies. That's why we did it. That's why we grind. Now, let me explain how mining satchels or gathering bags work. All right, so mining satchel. When you mine a stone, it takes up a 2x2 space in your inventory. A big granite stone is going to take up 4 of these squares, these little squares, right? And we could stack these in a regular bag to 20 stone. If we put that stone in a mining satchel, well, mining satchel gives us an increased stack size of 23 for mining materials. That means that stone that stacks up to 20 will stack up to 43 in here, which is more than double our bag capacity of a regular bag, which means, again, because we need to do a lot of mining, we want to do it all at once and then return to town with a big haul. We don't want to do a bunch of little small amounts of mining. We want to get it all done at once. And that's why we bought the 2 mining satchels, because, again, we're going to be doing a lot of mining. Now, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to leave Hammer Rest and go outside for the first time. Look at the sun. Isn't it bright? Praise the sun. Okay. And, by the way, we're also level 5, so we have another ability to choose. The ability you're going to pick now is Hex, and we're not really going to be using this yet. It's not all that important. Okay, but do have it somewhere where you would get used to using it. This does, it puts a Hex on the enemy, and after the time expires, it blows up and deals a bunch of damage to that target. And our Spirit Shred summon vessels attacks. It reduces the curse duration so that it'll blow up sooner. Again, we're going to use this for if we're fighting like one mob. Otherwise, it's a waste of a cast. You're better off auto-attacking and splashing multiple mobs with your spellbook instead. But anyway, also at level 5, you can now choose one of the other things to summon. What I recommend is that you just choose the Spirit Mystic, and we're not going to... It doesn't cost a skill point, by the way. You're just going to choose this in case you need to summon it to heal your mount or someone else or yourself. That's all. You're not going to actively use it. No, you can't have 2 summons out at once. I'm sorry. I wish you could. That would be crazy, though. Also at level 5, you can now toggle on Defensive Transmutation. This makes your magic defense scale your pet's physical defense. So we're going to just left-click that. It'll be highlighted and click Confirm. And now our pet is tanky as hell. Very tanky, okay? Very, very cool. Now, before going outside into the sun for the first time ever and blinding yourself, you're going to go to this little commission board on the left and take all the quests. The one that we mainly care about is Slay Mountain Lions. And you'll see it here on the quest log, Slay 4 Mountain Lions. We actually want to kill 5 Mountain Lions, or 200, okay? But let me explain now gathering, because we need to do a bunch of gathering and start processing items, which takes a lot of real-life time to do, so that we can craft our best in-slot pre-level 10 weapons. So there's a few things we need to achieve right now, and number 1 is we need to get 10 Snowdrop and or Daffodil. You can mix and match these. Let me explain what herbs are. You see, on the ground there will be like orange flowers. This is Daffodil. To gather it, just get near in the middle of the pile of flowers. You'll see a white dot. Make sure the white dot is in front of you, not behind you, and not to your side, but in front of your character, and then push F. You'll start to gather it. And you'll see it's kind of like cleaning the stone tablet from earlier. It has a completion bar or a progress bar. Once this circle fills up all the way, you will have successfully gathered the flowers. Now, I gathered 3 daffodil. I need a total of 10 snowdrop or daffodil. Now, you see there's a bunch of flowers over here in the distance, and snowdrop is the white flowers. So, again, we're just going to run over to it, and yes, I could have used my mount, whatever. But, again, this is Snowdrop, and you can mix and match these. It does not matter. Now, do note, when you gather, you can have a white or a common. You can have green, uncommon. You can have blue, rare, and yellow, heroic. And they all take up a separate inventory slot, as well as different flowers taking up different inventory slots. So I have 6 flowers. I need to continue to do this until I have 10. I do apologize. Sometimes I have text covering the screen, so it was a little hard to see the flowers in the inventory. I have went ahead and fixed that for you. So I now have 9 flowers. I just need 1 more. And if you gather more, it's fine. Just be aware that your inventory space is limited, and you don't want to spend all day gathering. Now, the cool thing about gathering, yeah, it levels up your herbalism, but you also get regular experience points. So I earned 60 XP for gathering those flowers. Next up, you want to harvest 55 wood. I recommend Eastern Hemlock. Eastern Hemlock is a big, thick brown tree. You want to make sure that it says adult eastern hemlock, okay? While you could chop any tree you want, if you chop an adolescent tree, you only get 3 wood, and a lesser % chance for rare materials. It's also not as time efficient because of how long it takes to chop down the adolescent ones, too. And the reason why I say you should only really chop the eastern hemlock is because, well, if you chop multiple breeds of tree, they all take up separate inventory slots, and it just becomes more annoying to manage. That's pretty much it. So while you are out chopping trees, you might encounter mountain lions. Now, you'll notice there is a star next to the name of the mountain lion, in which case that denotes that it is an elite monster. However, mountain lions are, even though they're elite monsters, they're not really that tough. They're actually way easier to kill than the Clayborns we killed earlier, so they're not much of a threat. Now, we have a quest to kill 4 of those. You want to kill 5 because they are elite mobs. They count as elite mobs, and you will complete a destiny quest to kill 5 elite mobs. Now, as you gather and kill mountain lions, here's the route that I recommend. So, here's Hammer Rest. We rode north and we swiveled east. I'm right here right now. You want to go northeast along the road, and when you get in between the mountain pass here, you want to kind of go northwest along this mountain pass. There will be more mountain lions, especially up here. There's a lot of mountain lions. And you also want to mine. You want to mine as you do all of this. There is no set amount to mine. It's very RNG based. But I have a way to eliminate RNG by turning granite into sand, which will give us metal. But this is granite. It's like an egg shape, and you want to grab the bigger ones first, preferably. The smaller ones won't give as much material, and when other players ride up, if you grab the big ones, you have a higher chance of getting more metal. So always grab the big boys and then grab the little ones, okay? That's how you should do it. So this is granite. It's egg-shaped. I got 5 granite, and it's going to put it automatically in the mining satchel. You don't have to worry about doing Tetris crap. Over here is basalt. Basalt is... It looks like a column. It looks like a pillar, like little, I don't know, tubes. And this is another type of stone that you want to mine. Basalt can give copper, and granite can give zinc and tendonite. Those are the 3 types of metal that we need. And we need a lot of metal. Despite being a spellcaster, we need a lot of metal to craft our best in slot pre-level 10 weapons, which will make us an absolute powerhouse of a character. Well, as much of a powerhouse as a summoner can get, really. One of the cool things about Summoner is, see, I'm engaging the mountain lion. I can actually gather while my pet fights or holds aggro on the mountain lion. See? Check it out, right? I can do 2 activities at once. So yeah, Summoner has that going for them, which is nice. And if you were to go into a high-level dangerous zone and you need to gather a rare material and you can't fight the monster, well, you can dance your pet around, you know, and have it run away from the mob and lure it away from whatever you want to gather. So this in turn could mean, and I can't say this with certainty, but this could mean that summoners are perhaps, potentially, possibly the best gatherers in the game. Now, I don't have enough data to really solidify that claim, but time will tell. So, on tree chopping, you'll notice that I have 20, 40, 50, and then 5. And this works out for me that if you happen to get a bunch of random different rarities, like a green one and a blue one and a golden one, just throw them out so that you can make sure that you have all the wood that you need. You just need up to 55 wood. And before we go back to town, we want to fill up our bags with mining stuff too. So once they don't have to be like max stacked. They just need to be full, okay? Kind of like this. I just need 2 more spots, right? But you also want to make sure that you slay 5 mountain lions before we do anything else. And so I just need to kill 2 more real quick, and I'll show you why. Alright, so we have done the quest. We're going to click the quest objective here that's in green, all objectives complete. We're going to claim it for some XP, some glint, and a little reward chest. And we will open this reward chest later. It's not important. But also, under Destinies, we now have Initiate Adventurer. We have Kill 5 Elite Enemies, which will give us 5 glint. We're going to claim that also for 1,000 XP. Now, before we do anything else, before we do any more mining, we're actually going to ride down here to the Hammer Rest Trades Outpost, because that is another Destiny quest reward under Adventurer, and we need that early glint so that we can get started with processing all of this wood right now. It'll save us time later. This is the Hammer Rest Trade Outpost. Once you ride close enough to the town, you'll see Destiny Objective Complete. Go ahead, and that's under Adventurer. You'll see Travel to Another Settlement. 5 glint, 1,000 XP. claim the reward here for 2 more glint, and we're going to sell all of our glint immediately to the nearest vendor. Again, only the glint, nothing else. So there's the dim glint, the dull glint. I didn't combine it beforehand, so it's whatever. Just more clicks for me, and that should put us close, very close to 40 silver. Okay, very close to 40. While we're here in Hammer Rest, a lot of the time the commissions here get a little buggy, but hey, it's an alpha, whatever. First up is this little green board. We're gonna talk to it. It'll have the same quests as the other town. Go ahead and just click them all, it's whatever. You'll notice we got Slay Mountain Lions again. And this board refreshes in 10 minutes, okay? So that means in 10 minutes after doing this quest, we can come back here and do it again. And we can go back to that previous, we can go back to Hammer Rest up here and then do that quest again. So we can quadruple dip on rewards. Very, very cool stuff. Now, across the street over here is another commission board with a chest next to it. If you ever need to find the commission boards yourself, they are these little exclamation points in the town. So just look for the exclamation points. For some reason, this icon is way overblown right now. That's a bug. I don't know. That's the latest patch made it big. It happens. But go ahead and interact with this board, and you'll have a bunch of different gathering quests. So we have like Fell Eastern Hemlock. Hey, that's something we do. Tendonite, Granite, Snowdrop, Zinc, Rough Rime. These are all things that I can gather. I'm not telling you to do these, and in most of my videos, this commission board is bugged and does not work, okay? But if you want to do these, if you want to play the game as a gatherer, well, you can get rewarded for gathering. You can get XP, loot drops, etc. And it's important that you do these, but for the sake of the video, I will not be doing this commission board quests at all. I will not be touching them, simply because 5 out of 8 times they have been bugged and not working, as in the quests aren't even available to claim at all. So with that said, we are now going to ride back up to Hammer Rest. Well, technically, we're gonna ride and we're gonna go kill 4 more mountain lions so we can complete this quest again, because we just got it. And then we will go back to Hammer Rest and we will process our wood and our flowers into materials. And you can also continue to gather stone as long as your bags don't fill up. So that's what we're doing right now. And I just want to point out, in this little mountain pass area, there's a lot of stuff to mine. This guy was AFK, and I guess he heard me mine. He's like, oh, crap. He's going to take my nodes. That's right, I'm going to take your nodes. There we go. Yoink. Right? Always get the big ones first. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff to mine on the edges, and then after you get kind of up here, there's a ton of mountain lions to kill. And we have to grind a lot of mountain lions for gear drops. They have good gear drops, by the way. They give good XP. And again, we need a lot of glint from the mob drops. We need anvil essence. The gear drops they drop capes, they drop earrings, and rings, helmets, boots, the works. At some point while gathering, you might not be able to carry things. So like I have 2 copper here. 2 copper is infinitely more valuable than 2 green granite. You really, really want to prioritize metals. And again, metal is copper, zinc, tendonite, not rough rime, but you do need at least 8 rough rubies. So after 8 rough rubies, you don't have to collect rubies, but it's still nice to collect rubies because other players need rubies, and the commission board quests call for rubies sometimes. So again, just make sure that you're that you're tetrising your inventory properly, that you're mining in between killing mountain lions. And when you kill mountain lions for a while, come back and mine again, because all the mining nodes will be back up. They respawn every 4 to 15 minutes. It's really kind of random. And yes, this will be leveling your mining, and that's fine. You can level every trade skill to 10. And I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to level mining because I want to be an herbologist or whatever. And again, up to level 10, it doesn't affect you. That's only when you start getting your certifications. All of that won't be covered in this video, but just leveling your all trade skills at novice to 10 does not hurt your character or prevent them from learning other things at all. Just we're mining to craft weapons. We're not mining to level mining, by the way. So just keep that in mind. Also, I'm gonna have my pet go smash this mountain lion while I'm mining. Ooh, I'm sorry. No, what the hell are you doing? Go back. I have it set to defensive. I don't know why it ran away from the fight and wasted all of my slams. Whatever. It's whatever. Oh man. Alright, now we are back here at Hammer Rest, and we're outside, and we're going to be processing these materials, or some of these materials. We still need to do a lot more mining to get the metal we need, but we're going to start with the wood. So, outside there is a table saw looking icon that is purple. It's got the saw blade poking out of the table. What we're going to do is, if you click on this, we need to turn our eastern hemlock into timber. In order to do this, it says we need sanding powder. If I mouse over sanding powder, it says you can purchase it from the wood shop. So, if I turn around, there is a wood shop vendor right here. And you'll notice under items, we don't see the sanding powder. What gives? Click materials. And it will be in here, but there's a big list of a whole bunch of stuff. And in order to save you time, click the search and type a few letters of the word sanding paper. So there's SA for sanding powder, or PO for powder, or DER for powder, or ING for sanding powder, right? It doesn't matter. Just type whatever floats your boat, okay? So sanding powder, we need 55 of these. So we're going to then click add quantity, change the quantity to 55. And after tax, this is going to cost 6 silver, 60 copper. There we go. Go and purchase that. And I'm going to sell any glint that I may have gotten from mountain lions. There we go. Now we're going to take that sanding powder back over here to the lumber milling station. Click Eastern Hemlock Timber. Click the quantity bar, drag it to 55. Click Add under Eastern Hemlock Wood. Hold Shift and right-click all of the wood. Hit Submit. This is going to cost us 19 silver and 25 copper and take 27 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're going to start this job, and this is now cooking, alright? If you click cancel, you do not get your materials back, and you do not get a refund. So don't click cancel. That is 27 real-life minutes that's going to be processing, alright? Now, we're going to run back into Hammer Rest inside the mountain here, and again, every time we go in and out of here, we want to check the commission board and get the quests that, you know, so we can stack them. So, I don't want to join a guild, no. But, here, we have another Slay the Mountain Lion quest, which is really good. And, we can stack those. Once again, once we do the Mountain Lion quest, we can then ride back to the Hammer Rest trade outpost, like we did earlier, and pick it up once again to complete it once again. So, a few other things now that we're going to be doing is we're going to actually do the main story quest now to craft the bag. So, in this case, we're actually going to craft one extra bag because they are good, nice starter bags. We're going to, again, walk over here to the weaving station. This looks like a weaving wheel. It's a purple icon. And we want to craft coarse thread. Now, it needs drat wine wax, which if we mouse over, it says we can purchase it at the textile mill, which is right over here, textile mill vendor. All right. And it's also in your quest log. It says purchase 5 drat wine wax. Well, we're going to purchase 10 drat wine wax because we want 2 bags. This will cost us 1 silver, 20 copper. There we go. Now we're going to go back over here, same exact thing, and we're going to drag that quantity to 10. Click add and add the flowers, and then this is going to take 5 minutes. 3.5. This is going to be 3 silver, 50 copper, whatever. There we go. So 3.5 silver, alright? Because 100 copper is 1 silver, 100 silver is 1 gold, alright? So if I say 1.5 gold, your brain should be like 1 gold, 50 silver. If I say 5.5 silver, that would be 5 silver, 50 copper, alright? Get used to it. And anyway, we have a few extra flowers, so you can trash these, or you can just vendor them, or sell them to players, whatever. But finally, we have, you know, we have some stone here, and we need metal. We need zinc. We need up to 43 different types of metal. We have 4, 5, 6, 16, 20. We have 23 metal currently in our inventory, right? And so, that's not quite nearly enough. But one thing that we can do to make it enough is we can turn granite and basalt into sand, which will give us a chance of getting metal. Because sometimes when you go out mining, you get a lot of metal, sometimes you don't. 3 out of 8 times, I've gotten enough from pure mining. The rest of the time, I have to make sand. To make sand, we're going to go to this anvil icon. This is the metalworking station. And we're going to go to sand and do crush granite. To crush granite, we will need crag shatter salts. And because we have 43 granite, we need to buy 43 crag shatter salts from the smithy vendor. So I'm just going to go, again, click materials, type CRAG for crag. I'm going to buy 43 of these, not 130. Holy crap, not that many. 43. That's going to cost me 5 silver. I'm down to 5 silver now. By the way, you're going to spend your money. That's how the game works. We're going to go to sand, go to crushed granite, drag it all the way over, and add the granite. There we go. This is going to cost us 3.4 silver and take 43 minutes. All right. And yeah, we're going to start that job. So again, this is going to have a chance to give us copper, zinc, tendonite, and coal. With that said, we are now going to store... That is not my mount. That is a vendor. We're now going to go back to the storage, and we're going to put everything from our bags, including this random mountain lion bone, which is for tanning. We won't be using it in this video, but everything that is not glint, we are now going to go to the storage clerk, and we're going to store it so that we have empty bags for our next adventure. At this time, too, we probably completed some of our destinies. We did a little bit of crafting there, so we're going to claim that. We did some gathering, so we got the 10 uncommon materials. This is 50 wood or stone. This one is a rare material. There we go. We also could claim some glint and a shirt box. Again, just make sure you're claiming all your rewards, right? I'm very close to level 6 also. So we got some more glint, and we're going to, again, sell the glint. Every time we're in town, we're selling the glint, so that in case we die, we do not lose any of it, all right? And you may or may not have enough glint to do all of these steps. If not, we're going to go back out and grind. We are going to go mining and killing mountain lions. Pro tip when mining or gathering around other players is you can use your guardian to hide mining nodes. Look at that. I parked this guy over this, and the other guy in the area that's mining, he didn't see it, and there you go. It's all mine now. So here we are in the mountain lion little pasture area, and unfortunately this Grim Skuldar guy, he's just killing mountain lions one at a time, it looks like. And he's using sword and board on a tank, so he clearly didn't watch my guide video. Oops! Anyway, so what you want to do is you want to combine your own character and your pet into pulling mass mobs. So you'll see here that I'm going to be pulling a bunch of mobs here, and my pet will pull that one. Also, that mountain lion kind of jumped in the air a little awkwardly there. Grab the deer. Let's get my pet to pull this one too. And there we go. So we have, yeah, we have a lot going on here. I'm going to move the pet to me now, and I'm going to move to the pet. There we go. And now the pet's going to start slamming. If I hit the right button, there we go. So that's going to pull all the aggro off of me onto the pet. And now I'm going to start casting spells, and we're just going to blow everything up before the pet dies. And yes, I have a lot pulled on the pet at the moment, but we're going to hit level 6 here very, very shortly. They're all going to start melting, and yeah, that's just how it is. There's another slam, and it's that easy. Just pull as many mobs as you can, as your character can stand, and it's about to get really easy, because at level 6, which we just hit, you have this awesome, awesome ability called Body and Spirit. Spirit Shred and Mortal Blow, or Mortal Blast, restore 20% of their damage as health and mana to your vessel. So this is what you're going to learn at level 6, and it is going to... Your mount... not your mount. I keep calling it a mount. Your pet will no longer be close to danger of dying anymore. Also, we just leveled it up, so I want to make sure that the stats are correct. 764, that doesn't seem right. Let's equip this, equip it. Yeah, 821. See, that's why we swap our shirt on and off. Because if I didn't, my pet would not have updated stats. All right. Also, if you get the Gatherer's shirt box, you can pick whatever you want. These things are pretty common. They're not very important for progressing your character. But now that we are level 6, again, our Spirit Shred, which will be spread with Mortal Blast, and Mortal Blast deals a lot of damage to a lot of mobs, that's all going to heal our pet. And yeah, things just got smoother. So again, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be grinding mountain lions for a while. We have like 40-something minutes until, you know, our sand is ready and our metals are ready. So there's nothing else really to do with our time. We still need to mine, but I'm waiting on the mining nodes to respawn. I'm going to pull the pet back to me now, because the pet is probably, you know, the pet is probably already pulled that one mob I told it to. There we go. Where's the pet? There's the pet. I'm going to tell the pet to come to me, and then tell the pet to attack that, and then we're going to have it throw out some slams, pull the aggro away. Now all the cats should be off of me, onto the pet. I did not cast heal on the pet, because Mortal Blast at this point is just going to keep your pet healed anyway. Just look at it. It's nice. Look how fast these things just die. They just absolutely melt. Everything is pretty much dead at this point. I don't need to use Hex. Everything's just dead. The pet's at half HP. I'm a little over half HP. I can cast a heal. We can keep pulling. There's no reason to stop. No reason to slow down. And you're going to level very, very fast doing this. You just have to get used to it. It's a lot of macro, or a micro rather. It's just a lot of button pushing. Let's have the pet grab that one too. Or have the pet come to me. There we go. Pull that one. Get that deer. There we go. Do a little dodge roll so that I don't get pounced by the cat. Alright, come to me, pet. Come to me. Alright, and again, we're going to stand on the pet. It's going to do its slams now. There we go. And then we start our combo. Just start Mortal Blasting. Watch my pet's HP just shoot up every Mortal Blast. It's so nice. And again, the pet is still going to take hits, especially if you do a lot of big pulls. But again, we have all of our abilities now off cooldown, so we do our second rotation. And they're pretty much dead at this point, so there we go. And again, you're going to get a lot of loot, a lot of glint. You're going to get a lot of gear. Again, this is how we get early gear. This is how... that is not better than what I have. This is how we're going to build up these Anvil's Essences. We need 20 of these, so we're still going to have to grind until we get 20 of these. Now, you don't have to grind Mountain Lions. You can go back to the Claiborne guys, because the Claibornes have a higher mob density. They are actually better for Anvil's Essence, though they are not better for Glint. They're not better for XP, unfortunately. It really depends. If this area is crowded with a lot of people also doing this, you know, it's a pretty big field, so you can share it with like 3 to 4 people doing this at the same time. But if it's very crowded, like during prime time, you can go back to the starter zone and hope that it's not crowded there. Alright, where's my pet was AFK, dang. Get over here, pet. I need you. Alright, start slamming. Pull that aggro. Pull this guy. Get a slam on him. There we go. Start healing the pet, because it's going to die if I don't. And if the pet dies, mount up and run, dude. Just mount up and run. Get those slams going. And again, I don't have to keep showing you the rotation. I think you guys get it from here. But very, very easy to do. Make sure we loot everything. Make sure that you're healing your pet. And at this point, we're both pretty wounded. So I'm going to have a little set and have a little picnic with the pet. You know, talk about our day, whatever it is. And when we're all healed up, we'll keep pulling. Now, as far as your weapon abilities go, we're just going to pick anything with damage. So, like, you can pick, like, base duration. That's fine. These choices don't matter too much. Let's see what we got. Yeah, 3% penetration. This is more damage. You can always unspec out of these. But at weapon level 8, we unlock the second skill slot. So I'll let you know what to pick when we get there. Now, as you grind it, make sure that you shrink down your glints so that you can have more inventory space for, you know, all your other drops. Because you're going to be getting a lot of random drops. And you don't want to fill up. Once you hit... I try to say hit and reach at the same time, so I said heach. Once you reach level 7, you're going to learn Amplify. And what this does is it essentially buffs your summon to have more mitigation, more damage, but also doubles the essence generation, so that means more stomps. And while it's amplified, these stomps will hit slightly harder, which is just more DPS. And remember, every time you level up, you can see my summon has 821 HP. We changed the shirt in and out. Now it has 875. That's why we keep that piece of equipment in our inventory. Alright, so once you reach weapon level 8, you're going to choose the refreshing follow-through under your Tome of Spells. And this is just a way to have more mana sustainability during combat, so you don't have to have as much downtime. For your Scepter, the choice ultimately doesn't matter. I would use Ward if you're stuck in a melee situation because it gives you block chance even without a shield. And it gives you some temporary max HP, but other than that, you don't really need any of the offensive stuff because you're not going to be swinging in melee anyway, hardly ever. Alright, I have grinded to level 7.5 about. I've got at least 48 silver. Anything more than 40 silver worth of glint is fine. We have 19 Anvil's Essence. I have 1 in storage, so I have a total of 20. I'm going to pick up another Mountain Lion quest here, of course. You got to always be stacking those quests. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell the glint and then store everything in my inventory. And I've got lots and lots of metal, done lots and lots of mining. So, again, sell the glint, store everything. Quite a lot of time has passed, but let's go ahead and get that bag quest out of the way. We want to make sure we have an empty inventory when we do it, because there is some follow-ups that have us transport a trade pack. So we should be able to pick up the course thread now. We're going to go ahead and do that. So that's 10 course thread. Now the game wants us to purchase a Pack Rights Universal Strap Set from the textile mill vendor. So that would be Pack, P-A-C-K. And we're crafting 2 bags, so we're going to buy 2 Pack Rights Universal Strap Sets. There we go. And then if we go over here to the tailor and click bag, we have a simple rucksack. We're going to add the course thread. You can only craft 1 at a time at 75 copper each. So there is 1 that completes the quest. But we want a second bag. And there we go. Now we have 2 bags. All right. We're going to then turn that in right over here to Provisioner Hammer Song. Oi, what do you got over there? I just imagine that they speak in a, you know, in like a Australian accent or something, or whatever. But anyway, now what they want us to do is to collect the crate of surplus building materials. And this is why we have an empty inventory. Now, I only have 1.5 glint here. You could sell it if you're really paranoid, but that's not really enough for me to be paranoid about. So now that we've picked up the trade pack, it wants us to transport it over towards the storage area. So we have the mailbox, but there's a room over here that we're going to go to. And again, the fastest way to transport this stuff is to just do combat dodge rolls and just beeline it there. I'm going to cut to when I turn it in. Just remember, you are PvP vulnerable, but there are guards around this time, and the guards have, well, if you look where the text is, 1.9 million HP. They will just one-shot everyone trying to bully us. But there are little pockets where the guards can't see gankers, and so, yeah, people will gank you. But anyway, so we're going to go into this little room right over here. And it's a little confusing because there's an NPC with like an exclamation point here, and you think, well, why can't I turn this in? Well, the answer is you turn it into this scaffolding over here. So walk over to the scaffolding and then push F to deliver. And that's all there is to it. So now we have to run back to Provisioner Hammer Song and turn in the quest, which is really stupid. And it's like, yeah, we delivered it. I mean, it's, I don't know, they need to streamline this stuff. So, Provisioner Hammer Song calls us a hoe, which I guess we are, because we're a summoner. And there we go. Now we're going to go back to the middle of the main room and talk to Commander Dune's Chasm. And this pretty much finishes up most of the main story quest in this area, though there is one thing he wants us to do. He wants us to go to the Veinbreaker mines. But we're not going to go to the Veinbreaker mines until we've got our best in-slot pre-level 10 weapons. Let's see. Also, doing some of these will level up on processing, I believe. So there's some glint there under your destiny. So just claim all your destiny rewards. Make sure that you sell all the glints, because we're going to need every silver possible for the remaining processing we have to do and the best in slot pre-level 10 weapon crafting we need to do. So yeah, I'm sorry it's nighttime outside. I'm not going to wait for it to be daytime, but you know where this is. This is the saw blade bench, the lumber milling bench. We're going to pick up those 55 timbers, and we also got some wood chips, which we're not going to use, so you can save it for later, sell it to players, craft something else with it outside of the video. After that, we're going to then go and pick up the sand we've been crafting. We got to hope for a lot of metal. Sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you don't. If you don't, you have to keep making, you have to keep mining, keep crushing your granite and basalt into sand. Let's see what I get. I got 4 copper, 7 zinc, not bad, 7 tendonite, not bad. This is a pretty good haul. All right, cool. So that's one way to get metal if you are getting unlucky with mining. After that, we are then going to go back to our storage, and we're going to craft a few more things using the timber we have. We need to craft our metal into fragments so that we can start crafting our weapons, as well as the quests that we just did for the storage bag. It gave us a few recipes that we need. But what I'm going to do is we're going to store, again, just store everything in your storage so that you have no inventory whatsoever. And we're going to sort a few things real quick from our quest rewards. You'll notice that we have these simple rucksacks now. So we can swap out our mining satchels for simple rucksacks, assuming you're done with mining. If you're not done with mining, don't swap out your bags. And again, your bags will be back in your regular inventory area. The next thing I need to do is, from mob grinding, I have a bunch of gear, random loot drops that I don't need. So just for a heads up, I managed to gain a helmet, a cape, I got 2 earrings, 1 ring, so I still need 1 more ring and 1 more belt from mob drops. We may or may not get these, that's just how luck is. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sell everything, every gear piece that dropped, like this sword, these pants, etc. And I'm going to keep the mining bags. We keep the mining bags. Now, any recipes, I don't recommend you sell recipes. You know, go ahead and learn the recipes, sure. But any extra recipes you may have, you can go all the way south to the Riverlands and sell those recipes to players there who are trying to collect them all, I guess. It'll be worth more money down there than it is up here, because these recipes do not drop down in that area. Also note, because I've been doing the Slay the Mountain Lion quest, we've been getting these little chests, and they just give you random stuff. This one gave me 1 glint. Whoop-de-doo. It looks like I got 5 rations that time, and I got a scroll of gathering experience. So yeah, you get scrolls of experience, different varying types, and so these are just useful to have. Yeah, so let me sort my inventory now, make sure everything's nice and tidy. Now, what's important is we have 2 potion recipe boxes, and even more important is these weapon boxes. Let's do the potion boxes first. Because we have 2 boxes of the same reward, we're going to learn 1 arcane potion. There we go. And the other box, the might potion. There's no reason to learn arcane potion twice. You can't learn recipes twice. Now, this is insanely super duper mega important on these weapon boxes. These contain the recipes for our best in slot pre-level 10 gear. So, we're going to right-click the weapon box, the first one, and we're going to learn the Wayward Spellbook. There we go. The second weapon box, we are going to learn the Wayward Scepter. Alright, and we're going to learn both of these. And these are the 2 weapons we're going to craft, and it's going to exponentially make us stronger. And by doing all this, you might have unlocked more destinies. Just claim those rewards. Now, as you do commissions, you need to complete 5 commissions to get your Initiate Adventure 4 out of 8, which will give you a legging box with a pants upgrade. For the video, I'm not going to do it because I'm, trying to wrap this video up. It's already long enough. But yeah, just do 2 more commissions. Just kill mountain lions twice. It's not hard to do. But with all of these rewards claimed, make sure again to sell your glint. This should give you even more silver, and so you should have a good amount of silver by now to be able to process all of these goods. So the first thing that we're going to do is go to our storage clerk, and hopefully you have 8 rubies. All right, you can shift right click to split the stack, and we just need 8 of these. So that's going to actually throw it down here. There we go. So we have 8 rubies, and what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the stone masonry station. It looks like a pile of bricks. It's right next to the mailbox and the storage area. And we're going to cut these rubies using Gem Cleanser, which are obviously sold by the Stoneworks vendor. So go here, type ST for, GE for Gem Cleanser. We're going to buy 8 of these. All right. And just go ahead and make that 8. It's going to be pretty cheap. It's about almost 1 silver, whatever. And we're going to cut these gems. Cut 8 of them, grab the quantity, slide it over, add your gems. This will cost 2.8 silver and take you 4 minutes. Alright, and then while that's cooking, we need to get everything out for all of the crafting that we're going to do. Because we're pretty much ready to go, I'm pretty sure, but... Well, no, we're not, exactly. What we need to do is we need to figure out which metals that we have the most of. So I'm going to pull out all the metal. All the zinc, all the copper, and all the tendonite. It's all coming out, and we're going to add it up. We're going to do a little bit of math here. And yeah, that's all I've got. I don't know if I have enough. Okay, so what we need to first establish is which metal do I have the most of? I have right now the most zinc. I have 36 zinc. All right, so 36 zinc. We're going to go back over to the little anvil icon where we made sand, and we're going to make metal fragments. So, in order to make metal fragments, we're going, again, to the anvil icon, and we want to make zinc fragments. And how much zinc did we have? 20, 32, we have 34. This requires smoldering ash, sold by the smithy. Alright, so we're going to talk to the smithing, and we need smoldering ash. And how much do we need? 34. Go ahead and buy 34. There we go. That's about 4.8 silver. We're going to then go back and start cooking these 34 fragments. Go ahead, and that's going to take 11 silver, 90. It's going to take 17 minutes. Go ahead and add the zinc. There we go. Start job. Now, that's not how much we need. We need 43 metal fragments. So, we have other metal fragments. We have tendonite. And what we're going to do while that's cooking, because it takes 17 minutes, is we're going to ride out down here. I know the map's a little wonky, but we're going to ride down here to the Hammer Rest Trade Outpost, and we're going to use those crafting stations to cook the remaining metal that we need. Again, we need a total of 43 metal fragments, and because I was cooking, I think, 34 there, I only need 11 more, but I'm going to go ahead and cook 26 tendonite. you can only cook one type of metal at a time into fragments. So, and metal fragments are useful for other crafts, so you might as well do it. You got the silver. It's just a good investment to have stuff crafting and processing while you do your grinding and adventuring and questing. Here we are at the Hammer Rest Trade Outpost. Again, the purple anvil icon. We can cook our metal here. We need to cook tendonite, 26 tendonite. So we need 26 smoldering ash. I'm going to walk again over here to the smithy vendor. Same deal. And buy, what did I say, 26 ash, I believe? That's 3.12 silver. We're then going to cook it just like before, adding the tendonite. And that's going to take 13 minutes, costing 9.1 silver. Alright, cool. So while that's cooking, we can now go kill more mountain lions. We can go grind some more. There's a lot we could do. I'm actually going to head back to Hammer Rest and get those rubies that we chopped. I'm back at Hammer Rest while everything cooks, and I'm pulling out some timber and some granite. We don't need a whole lot, but here we are at the stone masonry. We're going to claim those cut rubies, not chopped, whatever. And in this instance now, we are going to make some granite weapon molds. Now, we're going to need 3 of these, so we need 3 binding resin from the Stoneworks vendor. So I'm just going to type B for binding and buy 3 of these. Very cheap at 36 copper. Alright, now make sure you don't mess this step up. When you open this, you will see granite mold. This is armor mold. Don't craft an armor mold, okay? Close armor mold, open weapon mold, and craft 3 weapon molds. I accidentally did this in one of my other guides. It's very embarrassing, okay? You're going to need 3 granite and 3 timber. Whoop-de-doo. Now, this will take 1.05 copper, 1.05 silver. It's going to take about 1 minute and 30 seconds to cook. So, it's a very, very short craft. And while this cooks, I'm going to go and store everything back again, and I'm going to ride back out to the trade outpost and collect the metal fragments, and then I'm going to ride back and collect the remaining items, and then we can assemble our super powerful weapons, which will then allow us to head to Veinbreaker mines and grind even more efficiently and be absolutely overpowered for our level. Alright, our metal fragments are ready. Gonna go ahead and grab those. There's nothing else processing in this town. If you did happen to process things in this town, you can, of course, pick them up. Don't just leave them here. But back to Hammer Rest. There's no S. I'm not the only one that makes that mistake. They need to rename it to Hammer's Rest, damn it. Alright, our other pile of fragments are now ready. There we go. And then all we need is those weapon molds, and then we are ready to pull everything out of storage and begin getting our best-in-slot pre-level 10 weapons. I have to show every step because people will get confused if I don't. Here's the granite weapon molds. We're going to grab that out. Now we're going to go to storage, and we are going to pull out the 20 anvils essence. We already have the metal shards and the mold. There we go. We also need to pull out the timber, all of the timber. And then we need the cut rubies, and that's it. This is all we need here right in the inventory. And yeah, let's get started. So for our class, we are crafting caster weapons. We're crafting a spellbook and a scepter, as I explained earlier. I always get questions, where did you get the recipe to craft these? I explained it earlier. When we did the bag crafting quest, we grabbed that trade pack and got the follow-up to head to Veinbreaker mines. That gave us a couple of chests that had the recipes in them. So first up at the weapon smithing station, this is a hammer and a sword icon. This is where we will craft our scepter. So you'll notice Wayward Scepter. We need fragments, timber, weapon mold, and essence. You also need something called Scepter's Final Touches. It's sold at the smithy, so we just go right over here to the smithy, type SC for scepter. There it is. It's only after tax 12 copper. What a steal. Come back here. And we do not want to craft this Iron Hearth Scepter. Don't do that. No, the Wayward Scepter. So we're going to add the metal fragments. We just need 30. And then the timber just needs 7. The weapon molds, which we have. And then the any dropped essence, which is the anvil's essence. There we go. 75 copper going in, and then that is the craft. I'll show you the weapon in a sec, but across the street here, across the room, is the Arcane Engineering Station, and this is where we're going to craft the spellbook, Wayward Book of Spells. Same deal, but we need books, final touches. Go to the laboratory assistant, and then type B for book. Books, final touches, there it is. Go ahead and buy that. And then, again, go back to Spellbook. Wayward Book of Spells, add everything we need. That is the 45 Timber, the 13 Metal Fragments, the 8 Cut Gems, and the 10 Essence. 75 Copper, and then we get the Wayward Book of Spells. Now, check out these weapons. I want to show you how good they are. Wayward Book of Spells, we go from 397 magic power to 693. Huge jump. We also get a big jump in magic crit power, a big jump in intelligence. We also lose magic evasion for healing crit power. Well, the only heal we have is towards our minions, so it helps a little bit. It's something. Next up is the Wayward Scepter. We go from 248 to 433 magic power, 83 magic speed to 144. This will help us cast faster. 23 to 40 intelligence, and we get magic crit chance, which is really nice. So there we go. Go ahead and slap that on, and now we are ballin'. We are big ballin'. Where's our Guardian at? There it is. Let's swap off and on a shirt, and that way its stats are now reset or whatever. And one important thing that I want you to do is the old gear that you had, so you don't accidentally put it back on, is sell your old scepter and book. All right, get rid of them. Now, the Wanderer Scepter you can't sell, so just trash it, whatever. But, yeah, there we go. Our gear is now complete. We are absolutely busted now in terms of raw power. If another character around our level was to fight us or try to gank us for some reason, they're gonna have a bad day. Now, with this gear, we can now easily, safely, and quickly and efficiently farm the Veinbreaker mines. You could still farm Mountain Lions. After level 8, I would not farm the Clayborns in the starter zone. They start to drop off a bit. The Mountain Lions are fine because they're elite, but the Veinbreaker mines, we're going to go south along the road past the Hammer Rest Trade Outpost, and at this fork in the road, we're going to go right on the fork and go down to this river. We're going to jump in the river and then go to the mines. And I'm going to go ahead and cut to the part where I jump in the river to show you exactly where to go to find the mines. Also, I recommend that you store your stuff before leaving. You could take everything you want, and you could store it in the Hammer Rest Trade Outpost instead, because you can start operating out of here rather than Hammer Rest. It's really whatever you want to do. But we're going to be using the Veinbreaker mines, assuming it's not busy and full of people. Sometimes there's entire groups of people there. There's a lot of people there. If there is, you just go to Mountain Lions or you go anywhere else nearby and farm ravens or whatever else you want to kill. But it is recommended you store your stuff in case you die, in case your internet cuts out and you aggro a bunch of mobs or, something happens. Also, you can bind yourself here to this thing, so if you die, you can resurrect here. But because it is the closest one to Veinbreaker mines and you've discovered it, if you do die, you can choose to resurrect there, or because we're bound in the starter zone, you could choose to resurrect back in the starter zone. And so yeah, I'm taking the right fork, which will be on our perspective, the left, but it's the right on the map. It's the eastern fork, all the way down here to the river. So the fastest way down is to just jump with your mount into the water. Jumping into water, you will not take any fall damage. Don't worry about that. However, because it's Alpha 3, you can technically jump off any cliff, and if you unsummon your mount just in time, you will take no fall damage. So let's see if we can do it. And I kind of did it a little high up, so I took a bit of fall damage, but the mount is completely fine. You can see there it is. It's fine. He's a good boy, right? So to get to the Veinbreaker mines, from the water, you're going to hug the wall, or the northern wall facing east, and travel alongside it. And there will be a big hole in the wall here, and that's the Veinbreaker mines. So yeah, I'm going to show you, once you get here, you have your quest update to kill 10 enemies and collect 2 strange ore samples. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. The ore samples are the smoldering boulders right here at the entrance. There's 1, and then there's 2. Now, the game wants us to kill 10 enemies. We're going to be here for a while grinding anyway. My favorite route. Also, I don't know why I aggroed this tank. And my summon is gone. So that's troubling, but hey, we can handle this without our summon, or our summon somewhere, because I can use Stomp, it says. I don't know. I'll have to resummon it. Let me kill this mob real quick. Alright, yeah. This character it's painful to play without the summon out, but as soon as I enter the mines, take a hard right along the wall, and you'll go up this little ramp, and this is the best... This is the overall best leveling, area here. You have these rocklings, and preferably... Oh, there's also Calcitooth. This is a 2-star elite mob. Get over here, Calcitooth. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put our summon on Calcitooth. And again, you would pull all the rocklings in this hallway and then destroy them all at once. But because Calcitooth is up, we're gonna prioritize him instead. Make sure that we're healing our mount. We're cursing everybody, we're stomping, we're using every cooldown we got. Make sure you also cast Hex on Calcitooth, and you should be able to take him out pretty easily with your summon, you know, tanking all the damage. Just make sure you're constantly healing it every time that is off cooldown, and using all of your abilities that you've got. Now, one thing, because Calcitooth is also he's a 2-star elite mob, if you want, whenever Calcitooth does Haymaker, you could try to micro your summon around to avoid it, but your summon can tank this pretty much no problem. It's a tank. It's going to be healed from your Mortal Blast and your E-Spell and everything, so you can really just face tank this guy. But in the future, there will be mobs where you can't do that, and you're going to have to micro your summon away from skill shots. Here's Earth Splitter. So Haymaker is a frontal, like, punch attack to the closest target in front of it. The Earth Shatter is a frontal AoE cone attack to wherever it's facing. And it also has Rock Throw, which will, if it Rock Throws you, then you can just do a dodge right when the rock is being thrown. There's Rock Throw now. It'll do 2 of these, by the way. And, by dodge rolling, you take 0 damage, because it's a physical attack. But again, you want to kill Calcitooth every time he is up. And the reason why is because he gives over, it's like 9,800 experience points. He also always drops rares. He also sometimes drops up to 11 to 12 silver worth of glint. So even though it takes a while to kill this guy, it's absolutely worth it. Watch, I'm going to level up from this, I bet. Probably. Now, when you kill Calcitooth, the fight isn't over. Alright? He drops these little rocklings, and there's the level. Right? He drops 3 rocklings, 2 to 3 rocklings, and just kill them. They're pretty easy. But, again, he will always drop his rare stuff, which you can trade with players, you can sell. It's a money maker. And again, our summon is completely fine. We have all the magic and healing power to keep it up indefinitely against, you know, even a whole room of rocklings. But, oh, I kind of skipped the loot there. Let's go ahead and show it. So yeah, he drops this tension canister, which is used in crafting. He also dropped this glowing glint. That's 10 silver, right? And we're already up to like 14, 15, 16 silver. From what? Just killing a few mobs? Yeah, this is a really good place to farm, okay? But, again, we want to pull as... In this hallway, let me continue showing you the tips and tricks. In this hallway, we're going to pull all the rocklings. There we go. Just go ahead and pull them all, whatever. And bunch them up, okay? Once you get to this part where you start seeing Cinderclay, Sentinels, and Animists, that's when you would stop. And you would AoE down the rocklings. And again, if you pull the whole hallway, it's a lot of rocklings. They're very easy to kill. They're easier to kill than the damn mountain lions. They have a bit more HP, but again, they're just easier in general because they don't stun you or pounce on you. And they have really good drops. They also drop Basalt too, by the way. And then we're going to go down here, and we're going to pull a bunch of other enemies as well. And again, I'm just going to do a stomp there so he pulls aggro while I pull the rest of these guys. Sometimes they'll come up here, sometimes they won't. Now, you'll notice the Cinderclay Digger has a star next to his name. That is because he is an elite mob, alright? Elite mobs are way more dangerous than you would expect. Not really. They're definitely stronger and more elite, respectfully, than the mountain lions. So they will take longer to kill. They will be the last mob left alive. Someone just said, "Oh shit, it's Benji," and I don't see them. Oh, they were a rogue. I was like, well, where the hell are they? And he's using a claymore. You know he watches the video if he's a rogue with a claymore, baby. Or a greatsword. Yes. Hello, lad. Witnessed. You made it in the vid. Hell yeah, me. Anyway, continuing down, we're going to pull more mobs. And you don't want to over-pull in here, but you want to pull what you can. You're going to have to kind of get a feel for it. These rocklings on the right are sometimes bugged and will not move from their spot. Also, be aware of the Cinderclay Diggers over here. They're very close, and there's a lag spike here in this cave. It always happens. I don't know why. Be careful of the elite Animists. Animists are spellcasters. Alright? So, again, you want to be careful. Don't pull the Animists. They're very tough. You can take them. But they are tough in a way that it's not worth killing them. Like, the time it takes to kill them is not worth their experience points or drops. But, yeah, feel free to go ahead and pull mobs. And, again, the elites you want to start casting Hex on. That way, by the time you spam all your abilities, the Hex will pop, killing them. We never really casted Hex on the Mountain Lions because they have such low HP pools. But these elites, they have thousands of HP, so, you know, they're going to take a while. But there we go. We did a nice little pull. And again, we're going to continue running through the area doing pulls. Now, one thing you might have mentioned or noticed if you watched my other guides is I didn't tell you to buy consumables on the Summoner. And the reason why is consumables, they're not very useful on us as a Summoner. They're more useful, you know, on a class where you're face tanking. We can't use the consumables on our summon. And I know some of the stats bleed over, but not all of them. It's just very wonky. It's very unreliable. So just save your money. Don't worry about food and potions and buff scrolls. You don't really need them as a summoner because, again, your summon does all the work. I'm a little bit low HP, so I'm going to go ahead and, you know, sit down and heal some HP up. But I want to show you the other 2-star mob spawn. It's down here. And, yeah, there's going to be people down here, but in this wide room, there is an area with, like, 3 minecarts against the wall. It's over here, near these applicants. And it might have been spawned. Yeah, the Automata Feller is quite a feller. Alright, let's pull these dudes off of me. And go ahead and take them out. But yeah, the Automata Feller is a turret-level machine gun-looking dude. And yeah, that's the second star mob. There's also another mob that could spawn here. I forget his name. But they're easier than Calcitooth. Calcitooth is the hard one. These guys are easy. This one only has 3,000 HP. I think Calcitooth had 5,000. But he is joined with another elite Sentinel. Sentinel being a tank. But as a summoner, just run your summon over there and beat them up, just like you would anything else. Automata Feller has a lot of area of effect spells, so you can micro your summon out of, like, this. It's about to explode here and blow them up, right? Or it was supposed to blow up. But again, you can move your pet out of these area of effects. You can reposition them with follow, with move to location, etc. So in the future, you need to get into a habit of doing this because enemies will be very tough that you can't just face tank everything with your pet. All right, and you won't be able to out heal their DPS. That's just the reality of being a summoner, especially at higher levels. So learning good practices, good core mechanics now will serve you in the future. But you can be lazy about it. And yeah, Automata Feller doesn't give as much XP as Calcitooth, not even nearly as much, and doesn't always drop rare stuff. Sometimes it does, not always. But yeah, we got some, you know... Again, every time I go to this part of the cave, there's going to be a lag spike. I don't know why. It wasn't always the case, but it is now. Just something you got to deal with. Yeah, just run through the cave, pull a bunch of mobs, AoE them down, and you'll be level 8, level 9, level 10 in no time. And this is what you're going to be doing. And remember, you have commission boards for going down here and killing mobs. You also have the main story quest for killing 10 of them, which we've just done. The next follow-up is to deliver intel to a Hammer Guard scout in a settlement. Settlements are player cities. There's one way over here, all the way down here, all the way down over here. You don't need to rush to turn this in. Turn it in when you are level 10 and you're ready to do settlement stuff. This video will not prepare you for that. That's not what this video is about. No, I'm sorry. But other than that, just continue grinding in the Veinbreaker mines, and yeah, you'll have a grand old time. Just make sure that your pet pulls aggro as it should with its little stomping stomps. There we go. I like to target the Sentinel, cast Hex into Spirit Shred, into Mortal Blast. Always have Reconstruct up, and always stomp whenever your pet allows it. Also use Amplify on your pet so that it can tank more damage. You can see the pet is taking a lot of hits here, but yeah. Also, we did level to 8, so there's another skill that we can learn now. I will go over that as well. I'll also go over the skills at level 9 and 10. But yeah, these diggers, the Cinder Clay diggers, will jump at you even though you don't have aggro. That's just how they are programmed. So just get used to dodge rolling them. And anyway, this is the best XP per hour that you can do until level 10. And you may be wondering, what should I do after level 10? Well, that's another guide for another video for another day, okay, guys? But at level 8, here's what you're going to do. So at level 8, you're going to choose Quaking Stomp. So what this does is, the first time you stomp enemies, they'll be snared, which means they're slowed. Then if you stomp them again, they are rooted. This means they cannot move for a few seconds. They can still attack. And then third stomp will trip them, which means they cannot move and they cannot act, and they'll be knocked on their ass for like 4 seconds. which completely stops all the DPS your summon will be receiving. This does not add damage. This simply makes your summon take less damage as it's stomping. So that's a very good thing to choose. You can also, alternatively, you could choose Soul Flare. This says 200% spirit damage, and it stuns enemies. But it's a channel. It does not build up your essence. It doesn't deal a whole lot of damage either, and I just don't like it. But it is part of your rotation eventually, so you might as well pick this up at level 9 if you didn't at level 8. And then 10 and beyond, you can start putting stuff up here. I also recommend Parasitism whenever the game allows you to choose this, because when you have Amplify active, it's going to... all the stomps you're doing will heal your pet. Very, very good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot of things. Later on, you can also get Occultism to make your Mortal Blast deal more damage to whatever you have hexed, and then Accelerated Hex so you can spam more hexes. And then after that, you can start getting funny things like Dimensional Bolt so that you can, that's going to aggro me. That's fine. We're going to do a little fighty fight here. But, yeah, you just put in a bit, like, by then you'll know how to play Summoner. You won't need me for a video. Chances are I'm not going to make level 10 to 25 Summoner exclusive videos. I'm probably going to play Rogue. I'm going to be real. Like, I'm a solo player. This class needs a lot of work and a lot of refinement before it's, you know, as good as the other classes. It's still fun to play, and it's still alright. It's just not better than anything else in the game. Like, I don't see the point in playing Summoner right now. It needs work. It needs a lot of work. There's just no reason to play this over anything else. But yeah, here's another thing, too, that I'm going to mention, is the time it takes to level to 8 to 9 is 86k experience. The time to level from 9 to 10 is it's more than twice as much. It's like 190,000 or something. So this should, from 8 to 9, will take you around 45 minutes if the cave is a little crowded. If not, it'll be less time, especially if you get Calcitooth every time he's up, and you get all the Rocklings every time they're up. Those guys are the best XP. But 9 to 10 will take you 1 to 2 hours. It'll take you around 2 hours average, right? It's going to take a while. So this is an MMORPG. Get used to it, and it's only going to get slower to level up from here, especially after 10. A lot of people get so lazy that the only way they can be motivated to play this game is in groups. And from what I've seen, grouping up is not the fastest XP per hour. It's laziest. It's the laziest XP per hour. There are exceptions if you have a really killer, badass baller group. But, you know, I'm not in a guild. I don't have friends. I don't have pre-mades, all that kind of crap. So, it's not really efficient for me, right? And besides, I like to step away from my computer. I like to go do other things. I like to go AFK. And being in a group, you know, if I'm every 10 minutes, I'm walking away for 5 minutes. It's just not efficient. I like watching anime on my second monitor, YouTube videos and Twitch streams, or YouTube streams, really. But, you know, in a group, you can't do that. You're expected to be constantly mashing all your buttons all of the time, or you get kicked out. It's really, really stupid. But anyway, guys, that's the video. That is the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this helped you learn how to play Summoner. Summoner's pretty fun. Summoner's pretty cool. It's just not in the best place right now. It could be better. A lot of things could be better, but yeah, Summoner it needs work, bro. There's no reason to play this over any other class at the moment, unfortunately. And I want to pull them together. I don't want them split. So I'm gonna go ahead and hex him. But yeah, you know how to play this now. You know how to play Summoner. You know how to level up. You know how to get the gear. You know how to craft what you need. And after level 10, I'm gonna make it more a general guide that works for all classes for level 10 to 25. Solo, of course, because I am a solo MMORPG player. I'm just too far gone to make friends. I've given up. I'm not going to make any friends anymore in my lifetime. I'm just done. I'm just waiting for the nukes to drop, really. Yeah. Anyway, here's the thing, too. Oh, these guys are pulling everything. If you have any questions, okay, if you have any questions at all, I have no life, no friends, no family, no life obligations. So if I read every single YouTube comment that comes my way. Where is my pet? Get over here, pet. I need you. I'm face taking these things over here. Right? Go ahead and start stomping. Get that aggro off of me. And what this means is that I will see your comments. As long as you don't say a naughty word or post a hyperlink, I'm going to read your comments. So again, any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And to prove it, let me read the most recent comment currently on my YouTube channel. This comment is by DMIlm_fan 1 hour ago. I haven't had a comment in an hour. Please help. All right. He asks, can this game have AI voiceovers? Nobody wants to read the logs, for fuck's sake. New World did this mistake with lore books, and every single other MMO and RPG does the same mistake with text docs. So this game used to have... He's talking about... he left a comment on a Ashes of Creation video, by the way. The NPCs used to have AI voiceovers, and it was so cringe and bad that they removed it. And I'm glad they removed it. And of course, I told them... I replied to his comment telling him this, but now I'm telling you. Anyway, that's all I got. By the way, a few other things, too. In games, in sandbox MMORPGs in general, people really hate info brokers such as myself. And yes, I know that's a term that came from Sword Art Online, which is a good anime, by the way. Fight me on this. But as someone that gives info out and makes the game easier for everyone, it makes the lives harder for guilds and clans and groups of people who want everyone to be beneath them. And so, again, in sandbox MMORPGs, it is a PvP game. It is a competitive game. I am giving you an edge over other people that don't know this info. And because of that, the people who want an edge over the general public hate YouTubers. They hate people like me giving them a clear direction of what to do and where to go. So they will downvote this video, and that means this video will get less views. And don't be that guy that's like, well, I'm going to downvote it too so that I can keep the info all to myself. I can't stop you from doing that. I honestly can't. But if I get less and less views per video, I just go play something else because I don't have a job, I don't have money, I eat beans and rice every day for meals, and I barely scrape by to pay my bills in a crappy apartment in a very high, dangerous, high-crime city that will eventually kill me one day. So, do your part, click the thumbs up button, and maybe I can escape poverty, and, a rising tide raises all ships. So, with me giving you the info, maybe one day someone who used my info will give even better info. Who knows, right? So just help me out, like the video. It really helps. Finally, the last thing I'm going to ask of you, it's not to subscribe, it's not to donate. It's to click the video on the right side of your screen. If you don't click the video, here's what's going to happen in your life, okay? And this actually happened to me a couple days ago, and it's eating me up inside, so I'm going to share it with you now. You're going to get an amazing job offer from someone who's a multimillionaire, okay? This job offer from this multimillionaire YouTuber, whatever person, is a very easy job where you just read tweets on Twitter and collect video clips and compile them into a script for the YouTuber. The YouTuber will offer to pay you to $20,000 to $30,000 a month to do this. And it only takes a few hours a day, every day. So you're working basically part-time, earning more than a surgeon ever would. If you don't click the video on the right side of your screen when you get an offer like this, then what's going to happen is you will try it out for like 3 days. You're like, yeah, I can do this, easy. And you're going to try it out for 3 days, and then you're going to have such mental brain rot and such soul-crushing... Your soul is going to be bleeding from all of the politics you'll be reading and all of the world events that are happening, and your brain is going to be so drained that you can't mentally do the job, and you're going to have to tell the person, the multimillionaire that offered you the opportunity of a freaking lifetime, that you aren't fit for the job, and then you'll have to go back to working for, only making $17,000 a year or whatever, which is about how much I make. Yes, I make $17,000 a year. That's all I make, and I could be making more than that in a month, but I'm just not built for it. I'm sorry. But anyway, that'll be you if you don't click the video on the right side of your screen. With that said, I'll see you later. Have a kiss on your forehead. Mwah! And Happy New Year.